All right, greetings from S4 in Miami. We're here with Chuck Tommey of Siemens. Welcome, Chuck. Maybe give us a brief overview as to what innovations are you presenting for the ICS Cybersecurity community.
Thank you, Lucian. Yes, and welcome to the Siemens booth here at S4 24. I think that kind of the synopsis of what we're trying to show this year is the fact that we cover the whole NIST cybersecurity framework, including Govern, which was just released with 2.0. From a Siemens perspective, we feel like over the years we've really been building up our portfolio on the cybersecurity side, and now it really is a holistic portfolio that we can offer our customers. So some of the highlights that have recently been released include Cynic Security Inspector, which is a compliance tool that allows you to scan your system and make sure that everything is in the right shape, that your policies are required, and that everything's been deployed correctly. Security Monitor is a new product also, which is our, I would call, lightweight IDS, intrusion detection system, and allows customers that may not be really familiar or comfortable with the very complex and maybe fuller featured IDSs to be able to manage it on their own without having to bring in outside help. And then another new software package is Velocify, which is our intelligence management, vulnerability intelligence management system, which allows folks to enter their assets and then get a report back on a regular basis, or actually whenever something changes as far as vulnerabilities for those assets, they'll get a report. And it also includes things like what is the current status of that remediation, or the current status of the exploits on that vulnerability in the field. So that's the temporal score. And then it also allows you or gives information on the life cycle of that equipment. So if something's going to be out of support soon, you'll get a notification of that too. And then finally, we have a concept that we've been showing for a couple years, but it's really getting a lot of traction and interest this year, which is called Cyber Protect, and it's actually an active response capability for a detected threat in an OT system. Using a PLC as the decision maker, right? The logic behind it. So it really is an OT-friendly way to allow our customers to respond quickly to a threat until they can figure out what's going on.
Got it. Now, you've touched on a good segue into the next subject. How easily can you integrate these new products? Several products you launched, and you mentioned 4 of them. To get them into existing infrastructure, do they have to be a Siemens infrastructure, or can you go basically on a
sure. So
ICS holistic, or I say agnostic type of infrastructure?
Right. So that's a thing that I think Siemens has done a great job on recently also too, is to really try to be an open ecosystem, because we know that our customers are not going to be all Siemens all the times, especially in the US. And so we work hard to make sure these products all work across anything that's using Ethernet, as the backbone. So even our switches can be, both either a Profinet device, or they can show up as an Ethernet IP device. So we're very open and can intermingle with other systems.
Thank you, Chuck. Now, I will ask a question that maybe is off guard a little bit. Being at S4, you hear a lot of people still talking about the metrics. Do you have a favorite metrics for ICS protection?
That's a really good question. I think Dale Peterson did a great job in his keynote talking about metrics, and he did last year too, right? One of mine I talk about all the time is, right, patching is a huge issue on the OT side of the house, because for years we were told, leave it alone, don't mess with it once it's working, right? Now we're telling everyone, no, you got to patch on a regular basis. On the IT side of the house, they have a metric which is, mean time to patch, basically. From the time the vulnerability is known to when it's completely remediated in the system, right? We can't do that on the OT side. At least if we did, it wouldn't make sense, right? So why don't we have a metric that's called, mean time to scheduled patch, right? So we know we need to make the patch. We've tested it in our lab, so we know it's not going to adversely affect our process. And we've got a time scheduled with downtime so that we can actually install that patch. seems like a good metric to me.
Thank you for the insights. And now talk a little about some of the, given the challenges of patching an ICS, how does your solution help manage the vulnerability and apply necessary updates without disrupting operations?
So I think some of we have a product called Cynic NMS, our network management system, and so that helps us, help the customer look at the network as a whole. It'll discover, the assets, but then it also has a tie-in through an API back to that Velocify product that we talked about. So it can update, let you know based on your asset inventory what the vulnerabilities are. And then it also helps manage the actual updates, because you can download the firmware to that package, and then from one station can distribute the updates to the appropriate devices. And then we also have similar capability on the PLC side that through our TIA portal package.
All right, Chuck, so you talked about several products, but maybe pick one unique aspect you're interested in doing S4. What would that be?
Sure, yeah, so we talked about, that we can cover the whole NIST cybersecurity framework, but I think the thing that's getting the most attention these days and is most unique from Siemens is CyberProtect. So this is a system where we've taken the concept of SOAR, Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response, that's been on the IT side for several years, many years, but it's been tried in the OT side, but not to great success. Typically because it looks like a big black box, right? The IT folks are getting the messages sent back to them. It takes them a while to process them, and then maybe the plant will get a phone call saying, hey, you see something weird happening down there. In this case, we send the syslog messages from any detection source, a firewall, an IDS system, a SIM, and they could still go back to the IT, but we send them also to a local PLC. And then
let's simulate that. Let's try it once, so see what happens.
Awesome. So in this case, we'll simulate it using the button here, but it would be a syslog message that's been detected, and there we get the siren, we get the horn and a light. And then we also can tie it into an HMI, right, so that the operator can see what's going on. And we'll tell them, hey, what was detected, the type of event, was it a malware detection, was it, and where it is in the plant based on IP address. And then the severity code comes in that syslog message too, where maybe it wasn't a high priority, we can just do the yellow and no horn, and so they know something, maybe somebody plugged in a new laptop that's never been seen before. So anyway, this is a way to get immediate notification on the plant floor, and then we can also change the plant network topology based on firewall rules that we can trigger via a digital output here and a digital input on our Scale Security appliance.
Got it. Thank you. And if you have questions for Chuck or his team, feel free to leverage the hashtag on the screen, and we'll make sure to get them answered, or we'll bring Chuck on one of the panels, future panel discussions.
Thank you, Lucian.